How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
Oh man, the stage was set at New Chandigarh for the old MS Dhoni to do what he does best. And what an anticlimax it turned out to be. Well done, Yuzvendra Chahal and Yash Thakur. Well done, Punjab Kings overall in one of the most insane, chaotic games of the IPL, where Priyansh Arya batted the way he did and Punjab got to 2-1-9 in the way they did. And Devin Conway got retired out. So much happened in 40 overs. And in the end, 3 hits the difference as the Kings picked up their 3rd win of the season. And the Super Kings now have 4 defeats on the trot. We unpack that game on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Good evening, Wasim, Jaffer and Piyush Chawla.
Good evening.
Matt as well. I've missed you all, gentlemen. How are you, sir?
Did we.
Theek thaak hai, sir? Sab badhiya?
Ekdam.
Very
Good to
nice.
see you back.
Oh, likewise, sir. It was good to see MS also back. It was good to see MS come in early. It was good to see MS take on the bowling. But for so much of that chase, is it fair to say that again, CSK just didn't look like they were keeping up with the game, Wasim?
Yeah, I mean, they played well. They at least crossed 180, which was the case for so many years that they never crossed 180. So they'll be happy. But yeah, Conway didn't accelerate as you would want somebody who's batted for so long. Along with, I mean, while Dubey was there, it only looked like, he could take that game away. But once he got out, MS obviously, played very differently. The walk to the ground, to the
there was some energy in that.
Yeah,
Some intensity, some purpose.
It did look the old MSK, but yeah, I mean, they still fell
MSD,
short.
sir.
MSD, sorry.
Yes, sir. No problem, sir. Ambati is not here today. It's Piyush next to you. No problem. Yeah.
Yeah, MSD. I mean, it looked like the old of MS.
Yeah.
And he played his part. Unfortunately, got out to that, but I think the game was over by then.
I mean, that's the thing, that it still felt like the game was over. And today, at least, Piyush, they got a start. The openers gave them a foundation. CSK fans would be thinking, right, this is what Stephen Fleming was saying, right? Everybody was saying we need our openers, top order to give us a start. But even today, they just couldn't match Punjab in the middle overs.
Well, the way they batted, the intent was missing again, to be very honest. Because when you get a good start in 6 over 60 odd run without a wicket, and then from there on you have to, because when you're chasing 220 runs and you get a start like this, so you have to carry on the momentum. You can't play those quiet overs, and it was just not 1 or 2 overs, it was like 4-5 overs like that, and that means you're going way too away from the chase then, and that's what exactly happened.
Yeah, you like to break down the game phase-wise when you compare the two teams. I'm sure you've got the telling difference.
Yeah, well, I think there were 2 big things that stood out. I actually think, well, we've said decent start on the power play, but if you compare the 2, the difference was 16 runs, and that's pretty much the margin in the game. I know they were wicketless in the power play, and that was a difference, and they finally got some kind of a platform, but phase by phase, it's actually very similar other than the power play, which is, for me, where Chennai fell behind at the start. The other big number for me is 6 is hit. So Punjab 16, Chennai 8. And that seems to reflect the 2 templates of one team that looked like a real futuristic type batting lineup, bat very deep, go hard regardless of the situation, versus one that looked a lot more old school and relying on 4s.
And when you say 8, 4 of those actually came in the last 4 overs when the asking rate was 24, because MS hit 3, Jadeja hit 1. I wonder if that's where you think this game fell behind, that even though the start was good, it wasn't good enough for the target that they were chasing, or after that start, CSK can play the game differently. They can still take risks or find ways to get more in the middle overs. Why couldn't they get more?
Well, I think the ability of the batters, first of all, they rely very heavily on Shivam Dubey. He's the only guy. I don't think they trust Vijay Shankar as much. We've seen that now today. But Devin Conway doesn't have that same kind of game. So simply the quality of the batters, I would say.
Why doesn't Conway have that game? Because he found some form and we thought, all right, even when you get 1 or 2 sixes away, you think, yeah, okay, now we'll see Conway now. And then suddenly it was like, shoot, and then again, slow down.
But I feel he's a kind of batter who's more technically strong, and then he doesn't try to play that in the air. And we saw that in middle overs also. When he was trying to hit a pull shot also, he was rolling his wrist like a proper technical batsman. So I feel that's where they missed that point. When Shivam was trying to hit those big shots, Conway didn't even try that. And he was just, at one point of time, I felt like he just want to take it to deep. But if you want to take the game deep, you don't want your run rate to go out of hands.
Was the retired out the right thing with the timing?
Well, I feel if they wanted to do that, they could have done that at least 2-3 overs before that also. Because if you are expecting that he is not getting those big shots, so if you want to retire, you want somebody to come in and you want him to give that kind of a sighter that he can see at least 2 to 3 balls and then go for it. By the time they retired him out, it was too late, I felt.
I think it's similar to what we discussed that day for Tilak. That was very late. Literally 7 balls left. But it's a tough one for the dugout. Can we give him one more over and could this be the over that he takes them down? Is Chahal a favourable matchup for him and all those things? Could they have made more of that situation? Like you still had Vijay Shankar, you still had Jadeja. But would you still trust Conway to be in that long, or would you have retired him out sooner? Would you have retired him out at all? Would you have kept him?
You could have retired him and retired him a little early. But then again, Jadeja was the only one. I don't think they would have trusted. You needed one more batter there who could have done that. But unfortunately, they didn't have anybody. Even Jadeja, for that matter, he has his restrictions. So unfortunately, no.
Problems everywhere.
Yeah, I think the other problem with the timing of the retired out coming earlier is obviously there was that massive partnership between Conway and Dubé. So if you go very soon after that, then suddenly you've gone from having 2 set batters to 2 new batters, and Dhoni and Jadeja. Maybe that would have meant that Chahal would have come into the game a bit sooner than he did. I think it was the right call, but I think it was just a situational.
And
issue.
even then, it's one thing you have Jadeja and Vijay Shankar, but even with the impact sub, you still have Ashwin at 8. It's not like you have Ramandeep at 8 as KKR do, or Mitchell Santner at 8, even if the team's not doing well. They'll think that there are more problems. And I'll go to CSK more. Yes, Punjab Kings will talk about you. You played a damn good game. So let's talk Punjab Kings. And Shreyas Iyer was very much on the money with what he was trying to do. There was no Yuzvendra Chahal almost entirely through that innings. I don't know how Piyush Chawla felt personally about that decision from the leg spinners club.
Well, I didn't like it, to be honest.
No,
because see, I know it's people talk a lot about matchups.
Yeah,
but
he said Dubé matchup, so they didn't bring him only.
But he's somebody who is the highest wicket taker in this league, and he got most number of wickets in one of the most difficult ground. And 2 left-handers, it's okay, he can bowl the wrong one as well. Last game we saw, when we talk about Pooran, he is going after the spinners, strike rate 300 something, he got him out. So that's what my point is. If somebody who has got so many wickets, he has got that experience to bowl against the left-hander, you could have got him. It's okay, like if Dubé takes him for 1 or 2 sixes, but if you get a wicket at that time, you're pushing more CSK on the back foot.
But do the ends justify?
Vipraj Nikam got him out in the last game, Shivam Dubé.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Yuzvendra is not a better bowler than Vipraj.
But does the result vindicate the decision of the captain?
I mean, it's in the hindsight, but yeah, I mean, if he gets him out, when he comes on to bowl to Shivam Dubé at the start, he breaks open the game.
Yeah, then you could win by more, which can, of course, come in handy in the IPL. There's always that aspect. Do you sense, though, that he also had good bowling resources there, a lot of bowling resources? They set up a little differently, they dropped shade again, allowed for Yash Thakur to come in. Lockie Ferguson was clearly the matchup, I think, for Dubé when he came in.
Yeah, I think so. Just to play devil's advocate on the Chahal numbers, last 3 years in the IPL, he goes at 7.5 and over against right-handers and 9.5 against left-handers.
9.5 was very good today.
It would have been good today.
Yeah.
Averages 19 versus 32 as well. So that would probably be part of the
throw that out.
Part of the thinking.
Throw it away. I've come into your frame to throw that away. Piyush Chawla will have none of that.
The alternative view is obviously you've paid 18 crore for this guy for a reason. Surely he's more likely to get you a wicket than Marcus Stoinis in that situation.
PC.
Well, he says number, and so many times I also just said he's the highest wicket taker as well.
Yeah.
So I am also coming down to the numbers. Now Matt got his number. So it's okay. When you have enough resources, and a lot of credit goes to Maxwell also. We are not talking about it.
Very good.
Those 2 overs were very, very crucial because he just went for some 10 or 11 runs
and the wicket.
So I think that really saved, say, Shreyas Iyer from thinking too much about Yuzvendra Chahal.
I think it would have happened more in the last couple of years for you than in your earlier years. But did it ever happen where the message in the halftime or message at halftime and from the coaches was, or the analyst was, the numbers are not in favour of you, Piyush, so we'll see how the game goes. And then you're just waiting in the field, not getting a ball. Did that ever happen to you?
Well, it do happen sometimes, when a captain feels that... Generally what happens, if a leg spinner is bowling, they don't even think about throwing a ball at him if a right-handers are batting. But if left-handers are batting, they tend to think about it. But with me, the case was, okay, his wrong one is one of the best in the business, so left-handers also gonna struggle, so it's okay, just throw at him.
So you never had a time?
And no, I never had that kind of a time, that matchup thing and all that. And to be very honest, I don't believe in matchup. If somebody is a good bowler, he's a good bowler against right-hander or left-handers.
Wasim, anything to add to passion of Piyush?
No, I agree. I mean, somebody who's got numbers, who's got 200 plus wickets, you got to trust him in those situations.
Very good. Now, I still want to try and see how Punjab have really won this game here. Because in fairness, Conway even tried to get out. There were catches put down. Piyush, you remember? We were on the Insiders watch along.
I remember all that clearly.
Yeah.
Twice I called for wicket alert and they dropped 3 catches.
Ah, man. What's the story for this Punjab game though? What would CSK be more hurt about? That they conceded 219 in the first place?
I think they picked up wickets, but they still couldn't stop, scoring them from 220. It's just the intent of the Punjab batters, and Priyansh Arya absolutely stood out. The kind of innings that he played. Shashank batted very smartly, and then even that partnership with Marco Jansen. I think those 3 knocks, those 20 runs extra.
I mean,
stood out.
They were 4 for 80 at one stage, 5 for 80 at one stage. I don't know if you've dug up or thought of how often a team's gone from 5 for 80 to 219.
Yeah, I mean it's rare, isn't it? And I think it's rare as well to score as many as Punjab did in the power play, despite losing 3 wickets. I think they went really hard and they did ride their luck at times. Obviously, Priyansh Arya was dropped a handful of times. I think it was one of the matches in IPL history with the most drops, almost certainly. I think there were 9 or 10, weren't there, across both innings?
I count on you to be specific with your numbers, Matthew.
There were a few half chances, shall we say?
Very well.
But yeah, it was. I think CSK will be disappointed with the bowling effort in particular, and some of the management of resources. We spoke at half time about Jadeja bowling 3 overs. It's kind of been bizarre how underused he seems to have been across the course of the season.
Yeah, 9 drops. Being clear. Producer told me. Okay, I am going to take your comments, but just before we go there, when we talk about Priyansh Arya, and I'm quite mindful that we should never be carried away by recency bias, but as far as the best innings by an uncapped player in the IPL goes, and I'm trying to think of Paul Baltati's 120 all those years ago, and when the IPL just came, Swapnil Aznodkar played some big innings.
Manish
Pandey's played a big innings.
Well, there was a really good one 2 years ago before Jaiswal had made his India debut. He got a brilliant 100 at the Wankhede as well, which I think broke Paul Valtati's record at the time.
Which was that, sorry?
Highest score for
Yashasvi.
an uncapped.
Yashasvi at the time. Abhishek was uncapped last year, so we have to do all those calculations. But I wonder if we've seen actually one of the great IPL innings, let alone by an uncapped player. But today, all things considered, and wickets falling, and the lack of experience of this guy at the highest level.
Well, I feel it was one of the, for me, in top 3 for sure. And I would say, in fact, top. Because the way he batted, he saw wickets falling from the other end, but still he was not hesitant to play his big shot.
Yeah.
And the confidence and belief. He knew that whenever the ball is in my area, I'm going to go big for that. And he was clearing the boundary every time. That really stands out for me.
Okay, let's take some questions, comments coming through from the YouTube live too. Devin Conway cost CSK the match now. Is that fair?
I don't think so, because 88 for 5, you want your bowlers to do better than that, that team reaching to 218.
Okay. Should Conway have retired earlier? Sanket, we just touched upon that. MS Dhoni, oh, there's an account called MS Dhoni. MS Dhoni Theog, or the OG, if I read it properly. The OG, I guess. Was there an error by technology? Was that a clear no ball to MS Dhoni by Lockie Ferguson? I must confess,
it looked like on the naked eye, but when you've got technology and technology says no, then you've got to believe it.
This is absolute technology. This is millimeter accurate measurement.
Then how can you question that?
I think his back leg as well was very low compared to, it's not like he was standing upright.
You've of course got the better vision.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I can't help but think that you can't argue with the system as is. Thank God it's not left to the interpretation of the umpire. I think 99%, if we didn't have that system, TV umpire gives that no ball.
Yeah,
so I feel so. Yeah.
Yeah, the players get measured up now pre-season, so I don't think you can argue with it too much.
Yeah, I think it's just about it. It's the tech which is pretty clear. Every player is measured, waist up. Anil Chaudhary actually, who's with us in this in the Star Studios, Geo Star Studios, was telling us that it's a ball below the waist. So that's the height you take. So the size of the ball at the waist, batter standing upright, that is the length you take. So then anything on top of that, that's a no ball. It was 0.03 millimeters for whatever it's worth. Gamers asks, where's Raidu? He's around, he'll be back. Don't miss him too much. Okay, what can CSK do now? Asks Sanket. They've brought Conway. He's given them a start, but he's at this innings. What can CSK do now? Wasim.
Well, I think they've moved, closer to the victory. I would say they'll be happy. The margin has gone smaller. They just need to be consistent, bowl a little bit better, and they hope that the batters' form continue.
Anything else, Piyush?
Well, the good thing today was the intent. It looked much better than what it was. At least in last couple of games, we saw they gave up the chase in 11th, 12th over, but this was not the case today. So that was something really positive from CSK point of view.
Yeah, I'm tempted to say just stick with it. I think they've already changed so much across the season that having had a performance like today where they at least got close, if they'd taken their catches, they would have won this game. So I really don't think they need to change too much at this point. I think the worst thing that they could do after a game like that where they've come close is suddenly make another 2 changes for the next game, change the combination and, avoid that loyalty.
What if Punjab had taken all those catches?
Oh, true.
Whether is that? Wouldn't have been as close. Or if CSK had taken some of theirs also, that would have helped.
Yeah.
There's one from Ujjwal that says, I'm pretty sure dot balls in the afternoon match were less than drop catches in the evening match. Maybe, give us the numbers. I want accurate numbers. That's nice. Clever comment. What else? We've addressed the Chahal point. Aditya says, well, Dhoni is at 2 sixes playing 12 balls, while the rest of CSK at 5. And look at Ricky Ponting's side. Well, let's call them Shreyas Iyer's side also, if you don't mind. Hitting plenty. Yeah. How can you improve on 6 hitting ability? That's the kind of game you'll have to beat teams like Punjab, RCB, who are doing well, even Delhi, LSG even, with the kind of 6 hitting prowess we saw this afternoon. Do they have the personnel to improve their 6 hitting?
No, not really. I mean, apart from Ruturaj, Rachin, and Shivam Dubey, and then MS, obviously. You don't have anybody who can hit, 6s at will.
That's concerning, isn't it?
It is concerning the way the game is going at the moment, because you want your players who can hit 6s at will, as Wasim bhai mentioned, and they don't have, apart from these 4.
Would you still want to see Rutu up top?
I don't think, we definitely would want it, but I don't think CSK is going to do it because they build a team around that. Ideally Conway and Rutu should open and Rachin should come in at number 3. I don't think we're going to see that.
RXY says, while watching this CSK chase, I read the dictionary cover to cover. It wasn't that bad. I think the Delhi game's a better example of that. Ujjwal says, it's an irony that a team like CSK, which is known to be so disciplined, has become sloppy in the field. That's actually a good point. Even if their batting and bowling has its challenges, we've never associated CSK to be sloppy or indisciplined in the field. They've always done the basics very well. Why has that changed?
Well, when the things are falling apart, everything falls apart. So that's what's showing on the field. Because fielding is all about confidence. And when you're bowling well, you're batting well, your fielding automatically becomes better. But here, things are not going CSK's ways. So that's also affecting their field as well.
Question for the panel. Okay, no, I'm not taking that one. I always get sucked into it. I'm not going to take it today. Leave the RCB side alone, all right? And these are anti-RCB supporters coming in. I want to take points that touch upon this game. Ruturaj in a 180 plus run chase does not have great numbers. I don't know if that's true, is it?
Yeah, it is. I think some of the worst actually in the IPL when he's chasing big scores. I think he's averaging in the low teens and striking at about 110. Which is pretty concerning when you consider that it's not a small sample either. There we go.
There we go. Average of 13.4.
Yeah, it's really poor numbers. I don't know whether it's in terms of the mindset. Wasim, you probably have a better insight on this in terms of what would be the issue there. Would it be him going out and not knowing how to manage a situation where he has to score that quickly?
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that he's got such numbers because such a quality player and he's got hundreds in the IPL.
Yeah.
So it's not that he doesn't know how to do that. It's just that it falls apart when he bats in the second innings and doesn't produce innings like what he does in the first innings.
Right. What else do we have? Lawrence John bringing up the Ruturaj Gaikwad captaincy point. He's got to sort out who bowls the last over of the power play. Ashwin's not the right option.
Yeah.
And he could have brought in Pati Rana. Are they also struggling in that department? I know you had a very strong opinion on what they can do to change that? Wasim, Jaffer?
I have been saying that for few years now.
Say it again, Wasim. Say it again.
I mean, when they made Jadeja captain, then obviously Rutu. While MS is playing, I feel he should be captain, no matter what. You know, there's no grooming, nothing like that happens in. Everybody does captaincy in his own style. So, no matter how much you be around MS Dhoni or anyone for that matter, you're gonna captain in your own style. So while he's still playing, and he gets the best out of the players, we've seen that. So while he's playing, while he's in the park, he should be the captain.
Can they even do it? Sounds drastic, but their season is falling. Slipping away with 4 losses, it's going to be harder and harder. They're not winning at the Chepauk.
I mean, if MS was captain, I won't be surprised Deepak Huda start performing. Tripathi might start performing. We've seen that in the past.
But I mean, I don't know. I feel like that sounds unfair to Ruturaj and with what other players' non-performance. I can understand tactical errors in terms of bowling changes, and the batter's own form is a cause for concern. The captain's own form.
But we all know Ruturaj is really good at the top of the order when he's opening the inning. If you see today's dismissal as well, he was trying to play it over mid-off. When you're opening the inning, the ball is hard and that really travels. Here he got the inside half of the bat and it was easy catch for the mid-wicket. But as Wasim bhai mentioned that Tripathi might start performing, I agree. Deepak Huda, somehow I don't, because I'm seeing that for the last almost 4-5 years now. So the other batters and the captaincy thing, yeah, everyone has a different way of doing that. So Ruturaj has his own.
You know Ruturaj reasonably well, don't you? I'm just trying to think whether this number 3 thing is something he would have chosen to do or is a franchise management call which he's accepted.
Well, sometimes what happens, captain take that extra responsibility on his shoulders and he knows that number 3 is very important for the team. Like, I just want to give you an example, Akshar Patel. He has bowled well, but he is not even bowling his quotas of over. In like Chennai wicket, he bowled just 1 over. In one game, he conceded 18 runs. He just bowled 3. So that's what something I can see here. That what Ruturaj is trying to do is that he wants to take that difficult position, come at number 3, build the inning for the team. He's taking that extra bit of responsibility, I feel.
Ajay Sangwan says, Ritu, if you care for us CSK fans, please open and see the results.
He was second highest run scorer last season, opening the batting.
Him and Conway just worked well. Rachin can.
Why would you change then? Yeah, that's my point.
Maybe Rutu doesn't get to decide where he bats even when he's captain. But MS does get to decide where he bats even if he's not captain.
He also, before today, has been coming in pretty early, to be fair. It's not like he's been...
I've heard this time and again, you're an opening batter. Whether you're coming in early or not, if you're an opening batter, it doesn't matter if you're coming in second ball or third over, it doesn't feel the same, does it?
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, he's got hundreds batting, opening the order. Why would you change that which is not broken?
Questions on Jadeja. Now, it's one thing he didn't bowl 4, which could be either the captain's call or his own. I did hear your comments at half-time. But what about Jadeja, the batter? Is there more that can be expected of him? There are many questions here which say whether Jadeja's past his best as a batter.
Well, Jadeja is not somebody who's known for 6 hitting. He's somebody who can really, maneuver the ball and get those quick runs and some boundary and 6s here and there. By the time he's coming into bat, the run rate has already creeped up so much. From there, you're expecting, so that will happen once in 10 times, not every time. So he's not a 6-hitting batter.
Akshat Jain says CSK's method of batting is similar to India of 2022. It's just outdated.
It's a tricky one. I think that's partly a reflection on the fact that they've bowled pretty poorly in this tournament. Because if you look at someone like Gujarat Titans, you'd say that they're built in a similar way, where they're not necessarily the most explosive team. But because of the fact that their bowlers are performing, they're managing fine, and their batting method is working out absolutely fine. I think Chennai are built as a strong bowling team who can then chase a par total or can get a score on the board of sorts and defend it. But I think their bowlers are letting them down. Right.
Some more. SKM says CSK haven't used Ashwin creatively. RR were much better in how they used him with both bat and ball. And he's certainly a better batter than Vijay Shankar. Well, I'll throw that to the panel. Ashwin also has had a very quiet return.
Well, part of the problem is obviously he's a defensive bowler. He's not an attacking bowler. So he looks to contain and then create opportunities for the guy from the other end. So, he's not somebody like Kuldeep Yadav or, Varun Chakravarti. So he's got his limitation and he tries to do his best within that.
Uday Verma is helping me out here. He's saying Mike Hussey said today that Gaikwad wants to bat at 3. So that tells us we take the batting coach's words. All right, yeah, and quite a few of those are pointing that out. Thank you for that. I missed Mike Hussey's comments, but if Rutu's chosen this, it's still worthy for debate whether they still want to change that up, given their season is not working as they would like. I can't find any Punjab Kings questions, unfortunately. I'm trying very hard. There's one which is not a CSK question. Is everything okay between Raidu and Sanjay Bangar? Yes, everything's fine. I don't know if the two of you knew last night, but they got into completely... I was not responsible. Matt is witness. Unprovoked debate about captaincy and Mr. Bangar saying Rohit should be on the field to help Hardik and Raidu saying, why? Here, it's Hardik's team. You know, he doesn't need 10 people in his ear. Anyway.
We were melting into the sofa, weren't we, Raunak?
Oh, I was enjoying it. You must have been melting.
Right. He's got Surya Kumar Yadav to help him.
He's got the T20 captain. Yesterday he had Bumrah, potentially test captain.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough captains. But they still find themselves close to each other on the points table. All right. I am now going to tell you what Ruturaj Gaikwad has actually said after this defeat. And I empathize with Gaikwad. This is not a good place to be in right now. And here's what the captain has said of CSK. Today was spot on from a batting perspective. This is what we wanted. Our best batters who can play pace very well played up the order and had a brilliant power play. It was a better, improved performance and many positives. Want to take some positives out of it, and we were 2 or 3 hits away from winning. Conway is more of a timer of the ball, very useful up the order. When you have Jaddu, known for that finishing role, particularly you expect that when you know the batter is struggling. Initially Conway was still timing it. We waited and waited until he started struggling. I don't know, I'm sure he has to also speak positively for the dressing room, but that wasn't the perfect batting effort, was it?
No, it wasn't, and like we have spoken before, they haven't got the personnel to do it. They haven't got anybody like Puran or somebody, a 6-hitter, who will come in and start hitting sixes. So they've got their limitations.
Ujjwal makes a nice point on Punjab actually. Marco Janssen's innings, and I'll throw in Shashank as well. Because after Priyansh Arya's madness, brilliant madness, they could have fallen and got 190, but they needed 219. The difference is at the end only 18. So Punjab have had other heroes as well today, haven't they, Wasim?
Yeah, and if they had lost a wicket there, you might have seen Suryan Shedke walk in, which potentially would have taken Yash Thakur out. So would have gone anyway. You know, they would have still got 210 maybe with Suryansh, but that partnership actually took the game away from CSK, I would say.
Yeah, Uday Verma is saying this is twice that the Punjab middle orders just fall in early. Is that still an area of concern?
Well, I don't think so, because Nihal Vadera has done well, and then Shashank Singh has done well.
Yeah, it's mainly Stoinis and Maxwell, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mainly, so he can mention that name clearly, whosoever is asking the question, that he's talking about Stoinis. But I'm really glad, like looking at the Indian batters, you know, coming to the party and contributing for the team's win. If you see the way Priyansh batted, and then Shashank took the responsibility, took the game deep, and his strike rate was still amazing. So I think that's really a good sign for Punjab.
Yeah, Shashank's just brilliant, isn't he? He takes his catches as well. That's why I like him. Right. Last couple. Can Jamie Overton come in? Get some power hitting.
Can, but again, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the solution. I think if you're putting Overton in, who are you taking out? You're changing something again. I'm not sure that that's the answer. Overton's also, he's much more of a destructive player against the seamers than the spinners, and that's been the problem for Chennai for me, is the lack of a partner for Dubé to take down the spinners. When you think they've got Dhoni and Jadeja at the back end, they can cash in against the pace.
Piyush's neck is about to ache if I don't throw it to him. He's knowing, no. Why, Piyush?
Well,
who are you putting Overton in for?
Well, Jamie Overton, we talk so much about his batting, but I've never seen him getting those runs. It's not only about the IPL. I've seen him in the Champions Trophy, where they were saying, and even the series which happened in India, he was coming at number 7 and not even contributing. And it's not about getting those runs. He never looked like that he'll get runs. So that's what my point is.
Yeah, he's not a good player of spin.
I mean, you're saying he comes in for whom if he does?
I'm not saying.
Yeah, okay, because I know someone on the panel said they can't afford the luxury of Noor and Patirana, even though they've been 2 of their best bowlers. The current CSK problem is the minute a team gets 180 plus, which can happen even when Noor and Patirana have an off day, or even if they have a good day and the other bowlers go, that this team needs more batting. That's why Conway came in. But Conway isn't solving the lower order problem.
I don't think Jamie Overton
Also
is an
so.
answer, to that.
All right, the country lover says brilliant from Priyansh, Shashank and Janssen, but 5 wickets lost. It could have been bad. Punjab Kings fans are not very happy about today. They're also saying it's a very chaotic win. Should Ponting and Iyer be concerned?
They're busy celebrating. I've played for that team.
They tried their best to lose, by dropping that many catches.
And by losing 5 early, everything they tried. Priyansh Arya just shut out the
They should be
plan.
happy, they should be happy. They hardly win at home anyway.
Very good question from Suketu Mehta, very intelligent viewer who's watching right now. He's saying, MI have also lost 4 games. CSK have also lost 4 games. But why are we being more critical of CSK than MI?
Well, we should be just as critical as MI, I think. I think they've started the season really poorly so far.
It's the intent, I would say. With the intent, they lost the last 2 games, not this one, the 2 before.
You see?
Well, because if you see it on paper, MI still looks like a team who can come back. Even yesterday, the game was going only one way when RCB was bowling, but that knock from Hardik Pandya totally changed the course of the game. So I feel they still have the side. If they get a couple of wins under their belt, they still have that talent in that team that they can come back strongly.
Might I also throw in Bumrah? Just give Bumrah a little more game time there. They missed him in the first 3 games. Could have been a completely different game at Lucknow with Jasprit Bumrah there when MI played. So that's why we think MI still have a bit more about them. Shame though that there aren't any more questions on Punjab Kings. It's just loaded with CSK fans that are facing with heartbreak. This is good, yes. There's one on Lockie. Lockie Ferguson's had a good season, hasn't he? For a bowler who sometimes goes the distance in the IPL. But for that last over of 2 MS, do you see any marked difference in Lockie Ferguson's bowling?
Well, I played with him in KKR in the same team, and at that time when he came, and we used to watch him in the nets, and he used to bowl quick. But when it comes for a game time, he used to bowl those slower ones, and that's what I think he's not doing it. Today also we were discussing off air, you remember that he's bowling that 140 plus, and all of a sudden he bowled one slow floating leg cutter
which
to
never cuts.
MS, and it went for 6. So I think he's somebody, if he can bowl just those 140 at a hard length, it's not going to be that easy for the batters.
I would say that in this game we got Dubé out with a knuckleball, which was a massive turning point in the game. And in their game against Rajasthan, he got Jaiswal out with a knuckleball. So I think the knuckleball is the thing that's changed.
I'm talking about the leg cutters, not the knuckleball.
But the knuckle is
attention
a skill.
analyst.
Earlier used to bowl the
Knuckle's
leg
still
cutters.
slower.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Jaffer Archer was doing in the first 2 games. He was bowling so many slower deliveries, but he turned it into, he is bowling consistently the faster deliveries and getting the results. So when you've got the pace, I think you've got to use it. I remember Shane Watson also talking about Spencer Johnson. When you've got pace, you got to put that batters on the back foot.
Would you like to just shake Piyush's hand? It would be nice. Thank you. Just make sure. That's much better than Raidu and Bangar yesterday. Matt's good man. He sticks to his guns. There's integrity in Piyush Chawla. That's what I love on this panel. Oh gosh. Okay, I'll read it. With SBM has said, because MI haven't looked like playing ODIs. I feel for CSK. I genuinely do. I'm not kidding. But there's another one here. Teams go for Indian talent, young Indian talent, when your overseas guys aren't working. CSK don't even play them, and there's a mention of Anshul Kamboj. I think that's another good, interesting talking point, that they don't have anyone to inject who's young and exciting, rather than go to Vijay Shankar.
There's Sheikh Rashid, there's Andre Siddharth.
Yep.
Sheikh Rashid has been there for 2 or 3 seasons, but they haven't even put him in one game. There was Subranshu Senapati before he spent a couple of years there. And that's a worrying thing. They call on a lot of senior players and obviously they play, but the younger guys never get an opportunity.
It's not a franchise known for it. But that's when the seniors are doing well. So therefore we don't question it. But they paid good money for Kamboj, as I remember at the auction as well.
The reason behind that, he had a really good first-class season. He picked up a 10 wicket in an inning also in a Ranji Trophy game, which is very rare for a fast bowler.
I think he went to Oman as well, didn't he? With the A side,
emerging team.
The emerging Asia Cup there. So, man, I don't know what to say, but it's just not happening for CSK. Let's see if they can still turn it around. There was one I saw earlier that MI, CSK, Sarich were a lot of pre-tournament pundit favourites for top 4. Yes, I said that as well. I wonder if you guys did.
Even they were in my top 4.
Do we believe any of them still have a chance?
I think the lesson from RCB last year is never write anyone off.
Bringing that up. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It is a long tournament. We are still in the early stages. We go through to the end of May, and we're still in the second week of April. So, never quite write anyone off. But right now, it's hard to see.
Anyone going for
MICS, SRH, I would say.
they could still turn it around?
Yeah, they still have a chance.
It's not looking good for CSK either way, is it? That's a real shame. Anyway, it's time for a rapid-fire review of a game that gave us many talking points that will also hurt, I guess, to a large degree, the CSK management, because they got some things right today, but it just didn't come together. All right, let's go. 103 of 42 in his fourth outing. Is that the best you've seen from an uncapped batter in Priyansh Arya? Everyone can take this. Wasim.
Yeah, definitely one of the best. I won't say the best, but yeah, definitely one of the best.
Piyush.
I'll say the best for sure.
Matt.
I think that Jaiswal won in 23 before he played, but it's right up there.
All right. Wasim, what explains Conway's struggles today, and should he have been retired out earlier?
Yeah, he should have been. It's just that he plays very test match like. His approach is like that. He has limitations, so, tough luck to Conway.
All right. Piyush, has Chennai's batting template, especially in chases, been found out as outdated?
Well, I feel they leave too many for the last 5 or 6 overs, so they need to do something better in that sense. And as Matt mentioned earlier, that the difference of a run was 16 runs, which they were short in the power play. But I still feel when you get a start of 6 overs, 60 runs, in middle overs you could have, batted a little better than that.
He's like,
I got a little shout out.
For the last guys, but before that, when they were successful, they had Raidu, they had fit Dhoni. In the prime Dhoni, Jadeja, and then DJ Bravo as well. So that's a difference.
Yeah. Okay, let's carry on with the rapid fire. Piyush, you can take this one. What's Lockie Ferguson doing differently compared to previous league seasons? I'm not giving you that.
The pace he's generating and the lengths which he's bowling. He's not too full, not too short. He's just bowling those hard lengths and into the wicket and not giving that room, and he's cramping up the batters. So I think that's what's working out for him.
This I will give to only Matt and Piyush. Wasim, you and me can enjoy. Do you agree with the decision to not bowl Yuzvendra Chahal till the 17th over? Matt.
It worked.
Piyush.
Well, I would like to see a leg spinner bowling in those middle overs, and that too. We are not talking about any leg spinner like who doesn't have that experience. We are talking about the highest wicket taker of this league.
Very good. 4 losses in a row. Last one, all of you can take it. 4 losses in a row, 1 win in 5. Is there any coming back for the Chennai Super Kings? Matt?
Never say never. Never say never.
You could have said that slow. The theme is to take it a bit slow, not be as quick off the blocks. Piyush?
Well, the way they are playing at the moment, I don't think so.
Wasim Jaffer?
It's not impossible, but I think it's going to be tough.
All right. Thank you very much. Wasim, Piyush, Matt, this is where we say thank you very much. We've had a long day and we got some terrific hitting in the first game where Lucknow prevailed, and in this one where Punjab prevailed. So the IPL is up and running. Do join us tomorrow as we continue. Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout just before the toss. Good night.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.